From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Waker's pearls and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance of West resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. Performed the Deanest Nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in disguise. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. To reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan out as crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, here we are. This is Under the Groove Podcast, and we are under the groove, man. Let's get it in, man. How's everybody? Happy Thursday to the brothers and sisters, especially the RGC and those who are not a part of it just yet. More than welcome to be here. It's an honor to have you guys here, man. May your day have been to your satisfaction, fruitful, productive, positive, full of love, man, and unity. All right. So, hey, here we are, man. I'm glad to be here. I've been in high spirits all day, tell you the truth. I get that way though when I run across content that is empowering. You know what I mean? Inspiring. About us. That type of thing. Love and unity, man. Especially that content that speaks to us as a unit getting it together. There are a lot of brothers and sisters, man, on social media, man, that, man, we don't even know are there, because, again, the algorithm does not want us to see or to hear what's being said, man. And I'm telling you that in a lot of ways is such a disadvantage to us because, at this point, at this juncture, man, at this junction of this whole get down, man, we need all we can get. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. So again, I'm in good spirits regardless, but I'm just more so because of what I was exposed to today throughout my day. That being said, man, it's a good look, it's a good look.
Nature's tanning
So I would like to think that everybody is in that same frame of mind and spirit. This is how I think when we're like that, in that frame of mind or that spirit, we're able, man, to accomplish more. We're able to appreciate, not just who we are, but who you are individually first. So it's a good look. I appreciate it. Like I said, it does a lot for me. I'd just like to think that every, some of you can receive that as well, and I think also this is why we do what we do. This is why we do what we do. I got something I wanted to drop. I ran into a few poems today and they was like fire, man. Sisters speaking positive, brothers on their game. A lot of this stuff, though, is hard for me to find on YouTube. I don't do TikTok. Some of this stuff comes from TikTok. So when people send it to, I can't really go get it because I got off of TikTok, man. For the most part, most of it is on TikTok, But that being said, man, again, welcome everybody. Happy Thursday, all right? And so let's get it in, Go on and drop them gems, y'all. How has your day been? And again, the thought is, I want to put that out there, that it was to you guys' satisfaction. You guys are here. It's Grand Rise, and obviously we missed a few people yesterday, and that's all right. Today is a new day. Today is a new day. So some of our people, some of our loved ones we weren't able to connect with yesterday, touch bases with, let's put in the atmosphere that they're able, to jump in right quick, man, send them love and them blessings, man, and then boom, let it do what it do. All right. And here go one of them. James, how you doing, brother? All right, you said, what's going on with you, bub? Happy Thursday, big cuzzo. Love and respect. Keep it above board and under the groove. What's up to your village and all of your loved ones from the east side of the hub, man. Love and respect, man. Right back to you as well as the hub, man, on that east side, man. Again, man, the thought is, man, you brothers be, just positive in your get down, man, growing, empowering one another, yourselves and one another, because, we need that. We need it in the hub, we need it in the dub, we need it in South Central, Inglewood, Gardena, LA, period, man, all across the country, man. Let's just be 100 about that, because this thing ain't gonna get done, man, unless we're all on the same accord. You know what I mean? We can, put out advice and guidance all we want. You know what I mean? We could do that. But the fact of the matter is, man, we require more than guidance. You know what I mean? We require transformation. And I'm telling you, this has to take place amongst all of us. Just can't be individually, because that means then, okay, we're still by ourselves. We need to function as a unit, man. That's the only way we're going to get done what need to be done. So again, man, we require more than guidance. We require transformation on a whole. That's imperative, man. That is imperative, man. All right. But anyway, good to see you again, James. All love, bro. All love. Happy Thursday to all the brothers and sisters, kings and queens, man, gods and goddesses, man, on this get down, and others, especially for those who are dispensing love, unity, respect, dignity, all that stuff that we need, that we're missing, that we lack, in great proportions, man, in a big way, a huge way, man. We're missing it. But nonetheless, peace and blessings to the brothers and sisters, our kings and queens. All right. So let's get it in, people. All right. James said, man, I've been working on my riders, homie. I gotta get right for the summer. Ever since I started low ride last year, I've been more at ease, brother Bub. It's something in our community that's kept me afloat. I can dig it. Went and got the motorcycles ready, man. Summer coming, got them Harleys up and running, man. So, I imagine, the wife and I are gonna be brother-in-law, sister-in-law, grandson, son. We're gonna be on them bikes this summer, man. So I can dig it, man. Looking forward to that. Again, we tend to do that, man, as a family anyway. We get on our bikes, man. Boom, we ride, man. So, it's some stuff I had done to my bike, because I know you can understand this, James, because, dealing with that low, man, them low riders, man, it's always something that has to be done. If not necessarily maintenance, just, the whole look of it, the paint, man, the rims, the interior, just, how that thing go, how it flow. Same with the bikes, man. I had some stuff put on the bikes. I don't like them. I don't like that heel toe shift shit, man. I don't like it, man. So I went and bought that shit. I'm gonna get that shit taken off my bike, man. Now my wife, she might be cool with hers, and we only did it because it messes up your shoes. You know what I mean? But shoot, man, I'm getting that shit took off my bike, because again, I want to be comfortable how I ride when I ride this summer. I ain't rode my bike in over a year. A couple of times between the time I parked it and then had work done on it or whatnot. Other than that, I haven't rode it, since I got them back. Made a quick few run, get some gas, shit like that. And that's when I discovered I didn't like that heel toe thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna get that taken off, man. But yeah, put in that work, man. Make that low look good, man. I might have to pull up on you though. I want to see what you got, man. What year is it? What you got? You got a 61, a 60, 60, a 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. What you got? What you got, man? Love to see it, man. Yeah, make that thing happen, bro. Make it happen. You say, it's why I never joined the gang, big bro. All my elders and big homies kept me away from the set. I was never put on, nor did I have a desire to become, nor did I have a desire to, because I already knew what came from that life. One, and just in that respect, yeah, man. I reflect a lot, man. I reflect on that gang shit a lot, man. And I have to be totally honest. I knew, man, and yet, I think that goes for a lot of us, man. A lot of brothers and sisters. We know better, but for whatever reason, man, we jump into that anyway. You know what I mean? We go there anyway, man. And for a lot of us, it's a rude awakening, and then for a lot still, there's no awakening. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I get it. And peace and power and blessings to all those of you guys, all of you who did not get involved in that, who did not get involved in that. I think about that. You got my brain going about that shit now, man. And I trip about how we talk to the young ones today, in terms of, that culture, that gang culture. It's like, man, it's like we task them to we want them. It's almost like we require them to repair something they didn't break. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, damn, it's a disservice to them brothers and sisters, man. They didn't create this, you know what I mean? They didn't break the community, you know what I mean? They came into something that was already set in stone, you know what I mean? It's on us, man, to get it right, to fix what's broken. We can't put that burden on these young brothers and sisters, man. They have enough on their plate. I admit that, I will admit that. So I think it's wrong, man, for us to think that, or to even get at them in that way, in that respect, I mean, y'all ain't messing up, They didn't create this, man. This world had already existed when they came into it in terms of the culture, the gang culture. Again, though, we make like, and I see it now, and just it's vivid, man. It's almost like we're trying to make them fix something they did not break, that they didn't build, So yeah, we got a lot of work to do, man, especially those of us who was involved in that. Again, I tip my hat to any brother and sister who's not involved, have never been involved in gang activity, how I don't think a lot of you know how blessed you are, but then again, a lot of you may understand and realize that blessing having not being involved in gangs, man. So that's a good look, man. Yeah, man. Power to you, though, James, and all the other brothers and sisters, man, who understood, who overstood that wasn't the way to go. It's a whole lot of y'all out there, man. You got a whole lot to say about this stuff too, and we need to be listening. Real spit. All right, Lisa Moore, we see you, Queen. It's your Grand Rising, big brother. Blessings to you and the family. Peace, blessings, and love to the kings and queens. In the chat, B1 is Black First. It is Black First. All right. It's good to have you here, sister. All right. May your day have been prosperous, fruitful, just positive, something you could smile about. Here you are. You're in it. You're in this fight, this war, Stand tall, y'all. James says, it's all about understanding and knowing what's best for us, bub. I was fortunate that I matured quicker than most on the streets and took it upon myself to learn things that were necessary in my growth. Again, man, a lot of us, we're aware of it. And then there are a lot of us who aren't, aware of it. You having the presence of mind to not be wanting to be involved in this, man, I'm telling you, you blessed yourself. You made sure that you're here, man, that you eliminated any possibility, prospect, or potential of going down the road a lot of us have went down. You spared yourself, man, and that's a good look, bro. You should be commended for that. And that go for, like, again, all brothers and sisters who did not follow in the footsteps of a lot of us, on that path that a lot of us did or is on. So yeah, man, salute to you for that, bro. You should have your medals for that. Real spit. You're going to say, man, not everything is for everybody, as you have stated. It's many people who make the gang culture look good, unfortunately, and as good as it may have looked to me, even as a youngster, I wasn't fooled, man. Yeah, we got to reach these young brothers and sisters, man, because, yeah, there's a lot of bamboozling going on. There's a lot wrong with the culture, man. That, a lot of brothers and sisters, our young brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, period, going on. It's a lot going on in this culture that they don't get, or they're turning a blind eye to. And I just know for the life of me, man, don't no brother want, no sister either want to be in these positions we find ourselves in. We want to be free. We want to live without fear. You know what I mean? We don't want to have to be stressed about whether or not we'll make it through the day. There's no doubt in my mind that these young brothers are brothers, like I said, period, sisters as well, that, there's no doubt in my mind that, that's not what, that's what they want. They want to live a peaceful, calm life. They want to work on their future. I think so anyway, but yeah, so much going on, man, that actually, gets in the way of that, man. There's a whole lot of issues that contribute to, gang activity, joining gangs and things of that nature, man. A lot of us, like I said, men, know that, again, James, you were fortunate, and that's the beauty in it, man. There are a lot of fortunate brothers and sisters, and that's beautiful for those of you who never got caught up in this stuff, man. So, man, peace, man. Peace to you. All right. Queen Nzinga, how you doing, sister? It's a good Thursday evening. Peace and blessings to all the kings and queens in the World Group congregation. Black Pride, B1, you guys. Black first, that's to get down. Good to have you here, sister. What you got for us today? What's on your mind? All right. James, absolutely. Above the paint and extra work brings it all together, 2 wheels or 4, however you roll. And we definitely need to arrange a meet, my brother. I own a 62 Impala hardtop and a 73 Caprice. Damn, what? Yeah. I don't know. I never got into low ride, man. I had so many opportunities. You know what I mean? My first car was a 64. No, it was a 65 Impala Super Sport. A gift to me from my grandmother, man. My first car, crazy thing is I never got to drive it. I get the car. I think I turned 14. Just give me the car. I go to jail. Come back, man. The car been stolen. I don't know if I told that story, but somebody in the hood, somebody stole that car, man. So I never got to drive it. But, just as I grew, man, it just, I like looking at them. I can understand the joy and the hobby of it. You know what I mean? But it just wasn't something I was into. My brother had low riders and stuff. Me, I'm more of a, I like, I had the Cutlass, I had all that, the Phantom, the sounds and the rims, I had all that shit. But I never had a low rider, all my loved ones, most of my good dudes, my family, man, from the set, man, had low riders, you know what I mean? And another thing, I'm gonna be quite honest, man, I didn't like it being in the all this so shit. No, man, I ain't going like, I don't like that, but yeah, it wasn't for me, man. It wasn't for me. Yeah, man, you got 2 of them bad babies, man. You say I'm terrified of motorcycles. I used to ride my mountain bikes all the time until I got into too many accidents. I ended up having my elbow replaced, with titanium steel from an injury in 2014. And you ain't lying, man. Them bikes are dangerous. When me and the wife ride, man, I'm telling you, man, I'm focused on me, but I be like more on my baby, you know what I mean? Because the roads don't respect motorcycles. Well, people on the road don't respect motorcycles. Uh, you get hit on one of them things. There's really nothing to save you. The helmet. It got you got them those the helmets that are pretty strong, pretty sturdy and durable. I'm trying to remember the name, them carbon helmets, man. But shit, that shit don't really save you, man. And your head might, get, may not get, damaged, but the rest of your body is exposed. The difference between that and a car, we all know the car you're inside a shell, so to speak. There's not that for the motorcycle. So yeah, I'd be worried about it. We got the little mic things and shit. So, and I tend to want to keep her in front of me so nothing behind her can come and hit her. And, I kind of watch for both of us. And, we do, that side by side ride as well, man. But, and she's like me, we worry about that stuff. We worry about it. Freeways ain't nothing nice about the freeways either. I've been on the freeway on my bike a few times and man, I actually dropped my bike on the freeway. Traffic, I'm trying to go in between, get to the slow lane, boom, and the car jumped out of nowhere, man. And jumped off that thing, man. Hell picking it up too, talking about 900 pounds, right? So I'm like, damn. But yeah, man, I get it. I get it, bro. Our plan is to not ride them often, and we do some riding. Mine's a cruiser, it's a street glide, and she has a soft tail, so we plan when we ride, we're not gonna do over 60, and we're gonna make sure, them yellow lights and all, let the light turn red. We ain't gotta go through the light, shit like that, because we know they're dangerous. They are dangerous. One of my homies got hit on his bike, totaled the bike, messed him up. I'm like, whoa. So yeah, it makes you think, man. Luckily, you still here though, man. Titanium and all. That's a good look. You still here. What it do, Bam? What's happening, loved one? How you do, man? All right. Good to see you have your presence in this get down with us, man. Always. We need G's like you, man, up in this get down, man. Drop them jewels and them gems, lace us up tight, man. So I appreciate you being home. Peace and blessings. Real spit. Yeah, James. No doubt, man. We ride safe. We ride safe. Even if I'm going to the gas station, I'm mindful. Crazy thing is, speaking of that, when the bike came back, I hadn't been on bike, like I say, been a little while. I leave my house, man. I'm on, the streets and shit. We got small residential streets. When I get to one of the main thoroughfares, man, for whatever reason, I'm not thinking, I'm not really paying attention. I punched, I didn't punch it, I hit, hit the throttle, man, and that thing, boom, and I swear, oncoming traffic coming this way, I dipped low, man, bam, then they got hit, man. I'm like, I pulled over, thought about it. I said, all right, man, this shit is serious, That was about a month ago. I'm like, all right, man, come on. So yeah, man, I appreciate you throwing that out there, man. Safety first, man. Safety first. Yeah, man. You're saying you already know, and I'm not even saying you personally because you know how to work your ride smooth and grooving. But it's many idiots on the road. Just takes one of them. That's it. And a lot of these other people, I swear they can't drive in a car. So. I'm in a car, I'm in a truck, and the way they drive, it's like, damn, I be, having to watch people. You know how that shit go. Defensive driving. I got to drive for me and y'all too. Now on a bike, it's totally different. You're right. Got to be mindful of that shit, man. What it do, Chris? Say, what's up, bub, man? Sometimes you're born into something you didn't choose, or you didn't choose it. That's the truth, man. We got these young brothers and sisters, man. They out here in this stuff, man. They were born into this shit. They didn't make this shit. They, man, what Pac say, man, he was born into the world. He didn't make it. You know what I mean? The same go for them, man. They didn't make the world, but we tend to, get at them in such a way as though they gotta, fix it because they broke it. And that's not true. That's not right, man. That's our responsibility. So, like I said, just my thoughts on that today was okay, man. Especially when I call myself addressing our young brothers and sisters, I have to be mindful of that, man. I'm angry about a lot of stuff. True that, I'm more angry at myself about a lot of stuff, man. But I know that when I talk, I might talk a certain way, and it may come off as disrespectful to a lot of our young brothers and sisters. And I'm here to say, man, hey, it ain't that, man. I'm angry about a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff I'm angry about is not you guys' fault, So if I come off like that, even if, and I'm saying something and I know what I'm saying, I apologize if I offend any of my young brothers and sisters, about some stuff, man, that they, that was already here that they're into, what I'm saying? That's not on y'all. That burden shouldn't be y'all's, I'm still want to talk to you young brothers and sisters, I'm still say what I say in terms of saying, hey, man, there is a better way to go about living your lives, all right? But to try to put the burden of you young brothers and sisters fixing something that you did not create or break is wrong, all right? That's on us. That's on, guys, my generation, guys before us, you know what I mean? And some guys, beneath y'all, we pushed this, we created this, and so it's not your responsibility, all right? Just know though, man, you young brothers and sisters need to know though, there's a better way. Life can be whatever you make it, man. If again, you choosing that, you can also choose some opposite of that, opposing to that. Choose to live, man. Choose to see, what the future holds for you. You know, that's what I want to say about that, bro. Appreciate you, James, man. Real spit though. Chris, appreciate that. James said, man, I'm not cut out for that penitentiary. What you and OG Bam have gone through, I pray no one else ever have to go through. I love you both and every one of our people in this eternal struggle of life. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, me and Bam used to kick it on the yard, man. And I have an affinity for Bam, man. I respect him, man. Totally. Totally. I took the Bam, and I don't know why Bam took to me, but I took the Bam because Bam would always talk or speak truth to power on the yard, and he was dead serious about B1. You know what I mean? He was dead serious about that. And I saw that immediately, and I appreciated that, was no fear, when it came to that. And that's something I respect, because truth of the matter is, there are a lot of guys in there, they have fear. You see it around others, but we have stumped down warriors like Bam, that represent, that warrior mentality, that represent blackness, and I'm telling you, that was something I gravitated to, what I'm saying? Because, I just respect that type of man, you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. So Bam is my bro, man. That's my older brother. It's my big brother, you know what I mean? So ain't nothing but love and respect there for him, man. Real shit. We're all we got, y'all. Chris said, black life, I didn't choose it. I was born into it. And that's the truth. That go for each and every one of us, right? I think I recall seeing some on social media before, and that question was asked. If you could change being black, would you? I found that offensive. Me. I mean, it wasn't asked of me personally, but if it ever is, hell no. I love being black. I think black is beautiful, man. I think black is the strongest thing, man, known to man, so I would never change, and I think that's a question that could be asked or posed to everybody. Some of the people come in the comments. What do you think about that? If you could change? I mean, it's hypothetical for sure. Because what it is, it is. It is what it is. There's no going back from this, But, hypothetically speaking, have any of you given that any thought? Has that been something you thought about before? And I would imagine if that thought did arise, if it did come up, it had to have been in a circumstance or situation where shit was bad, man. And you despise your position, maybe even yourself, color of your skin. I don't know. Yeah, but I want to pose that question to the RGC, man, and anybody who's in here today or just sitting at the side listening, man. How do you really, how has that ever crossed your mind, you know? And if so, what would you had rather be? You know what I mean? What ethnic, ethnicity you prefer to be? I think that's an obvious question for anybody that say, yeah, I, had that thought, But me, it's never crossed my mind, you know. I think this go for a lot of us, man, especially when we find ourselves in hardship or struggle. And it's been that way, my whole life. I could speak for me, but and just in terms of our people, we can also speak for our people in a real way. Yeah, it's been struggle. It's what we know. It's what we've been through. We were born into it. It wasn't our choice. So I wonder about that. Man. Anybody got anything to say on that, man? Holler, man. But yeah, I see you up in here, Bam. Excuse me. Yeah, man. Ah, man, shit. OG Bam, man. Real spit. Yeah. James say, absolutely, I'm thankful. Many ups with the downs throughout my life on this earth, but no lie, bub. Had I went down the blue road, I don't think I'd be here in this live UTG with everyone here, Yeah, man. And the way you put that, it has to be, and I'm pretty sure you're looking at it the way you look. I just want to, sound off on that. Everything is for a reason, and part of that could be, your reason. We put it all together, man, and it, when we do, man, we get this thing called life, man, and our experiences, man. You being in here is part of that experience, man. So I think it was required that you be here. You know what I mean? It's meant to be. And that goes to each and every one of us. I often think of that in my own, when I'm reflecting, I think of that about myself. You know what I mean? It wasn't meant for me to not be here. You know what I mean? Or to still be in there. That wasn't, I don't think that's the way the energy, the power, that we, what I'm talking about, our ancestors had deemed it, they didn't see it that way. I'm here for a reason. All right. And hey, man, I don't too much questions, that which I'm pretty sure is or has a lot to do with forces unseen to me. You know what I mean? Because there were too many times, man, I could not have been here. You know what I mean? So yeah, everything happens for a reason, and in our presence, man, our existence, man, we have to find a purpose for it. And I think this is part of why I'm here. This is part of it. You know what I mean? So your being here is part of it. So hey, man, look, these are blessings, man, and we got to recognize them. We got to recognize them. All right, man. Yep. Fast car. Never been in fast car, man. I had IROCs, everything, man. I had an IROC, man. And the homies that tell this story, they tell it better. They tell it better than me. I had an IROC, man. I went and put Holley carburetor, transmission. I had the engine done, everything, man. I couldn't control that car, man. I get the car, I get everything done, done to it, the carburetor, the trans, everything, man. Holley hooked it up. First day out of the shop, fresh paint, everything fresh. I cracked it. Within an hour. Had my homeboy Mad Dog in the car with me, man. We going up Hoover. And some people can't drive, but I'm doing too much anyway. Cracked it, man. And luckily we weren't hurt too bad, you know what I mean? But another time, man, I cracked that car 3 times before I realized. And every time I cracked it, it was right the same day or maybe a couple days later after I got it out of the shop getting fixed. I mean, really wrecked it, The third time, man, I was like, all right, man, this car ain't for me. And I got rid of the car, man. I got rid of it, man. Yeah. I got rid of that car, man. That car was going to be the death of me, man. 3 times. Serious wrecks, too. One was a police chase. I'm riding dirty as hell, too. I shook the police, man. Shoot. Back in the day, these alleys are different now, too. Back then, man, early 90s, them alleys were terrible, man. They were dirt. They wasn't, alleys now, they got they paved with concrete and shit, and asphalt. Alleys wasn't like that back in the day, man. Not all of them. You know what I mean? This alley in particular, man, had potholes and everything, man. I hit that alley, man, was airborne. Car flipped and everything, landed on the gate, right side up. I'm like, damn. They would clean the car off, man, and book, got away. But yeah, in fact, no, that wasn't the last time. That was the second time. Shit. But yeah, I'm smiling about it now, man. But look, shoot, I was not smiling about it back then, man, because my mindset was, hey, man, damn, this car gonna be the death for you, man. But yeah, man. Bam say, man, he good, man. Living, loving life as you should, homie. As you should. Yeah, that is awesome, bro. Real stuff. Bam, you back on the air? Let me know if you back on the air, bro. I need to tap in. Shit. Yeah, I need to tap in, man. I ain't been getting no notifications, and I'm subscribed. So I don't know what that is. I had to check my situation, man. All right, Queen Nzinga said the younger generation still needs to be held accountable for their behaviors, no doubt. And I hope that I wasn't conveying that, give them a break, leave them alone. No, that's not it. You're so true. I mean, you're so right about that, Queen Nzinga. They still need to be held accountable for their behavior. That's so true. So yeah, that part of it, I'm gonna stay, saying what I need to say in the, trusting that somebody, one of them, two of them, hear what's being said, not just from me, but other brothers and sisters who have their well-being, in mind. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna stick with that script. Trust that. Got something I'm gonna drop. As a matter of fact, I was telling y'all last night, I think the night before, because I think it was Alonzo was saying I haven't been doing the commentaries like I used to, and I said, yeah, you're right. And I had, I decided to get back on it. So I got something I'm gonna drop tomorrow, man, about this whole situation, and then I want to keep it to the point where that's what I'm doing at least twice a week, man. I'm we're trying to reach out, man, and just touch the brothers and sisters, man. Just speak truth to power, But yeah, thanks for that right there, that comment, Queen. Bam says, same to you, bro. We had behind those walls. You already know, bro. You going to say, Bam, I wouldn't be anything else. I'm black and proud. And say it loud, bro. That's a fact. Hey, man, I'm smiling, laughing right now, man, because I'm just sitting up, I'm picturing when we was on the yard and how you go in and, it was just some solid shit, man, It was some solid shit, Oh, man. Yeah, I'm glad he made it out too, James. Real spit, man. Yeah, that Myrox was the shit. Matter of fact, me and my brother had twin IROCs. Yep. Yeah, the T-tops and everything, man. The hatchback part, all that shit, man. I didn't get to enjoy the car. That's the coldest part. I put a lot of money in that car, man. I mean, a lot of money. I didn't even get to enjoy the car, man. And I think to the reason because The reason was because it was how we were living. We were living fast, man. We were living fast, you know, you know, 27, 28 years old, just living fast, man. Got children, man, and ain't thinking about nothing else, you know. That was back then. That in serious stuff, man. You here today and go tomorrow, you know. Just living fast, man. No real purpose. No real purpose, man. Just in the fast lane, man. Made it up out that shit, man. All right. I see you, Vincent Harmon. Peace and blessings, loved one. You sound laughing like no matter what color I was born, I just want to come back as me, man. I love me and my ability to project. All right. Hey, but that's funny as hell, bro. Thick spit. What up, man? Yeah. Yeah, man. But I think in terms of what you're talking about, Vincent Harmon, we got people that, look at it like that, and they not even looking at it. Well, yeah, I ain't tripping on college as long as I come back me. Now that, like, hey, man, I want to be something else, because this is hard to wear, man. I get it, man. This is hard to wear every day, your whole life, and then it's hard to hear about those who wore it, or was it, or was that before us? You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to handle, man. I'm pretty sure of it, man. I was looking at something, and this I know, man. I was looking at something today, man. I was reading something, and they're talking about in our community, man, our young brothers and sisters, the suicide rate is higher than any other demographic, man. It's higher than any other ethnic group, man. And I'm like, no, man, that's bull, but I went and looked it up. Yeah, it's high, So, and part of the reason why that is because of the systematic racism, just the stress, and the depression and shit, all this shit plays into that, man. But I was shocked to see them stats, man, them statistics, So yeah, we got a lot of work to do, man. We got to save as many of us as we can, man. It's required of us. It's required of us, man. In order to get this transformation, man, up and running, or make it to that, we got a lot of work to do, man. All right, appreciate you, Mr. Vincent Harmon. You say no matter what color I was born, I just want to come back as me, man. Got to love you a whole lot, huh? Yeah, real shit. I agree. I wouldn't, that question is also one that's been posed, before, not just with one change his ethnicity, but also with one change anything about him or herself, was another question that's been posed to me before. And I, to be quite frank, my reply was no. I mean, I thought about it, because there are certain things you could say, well, yeah, I would change it, but that would still alter, hypothetically speaking, still, let's keep that in mind. But any change, any small change could alter, could alter something, in terms of who you are, who you ended up or turned out to be, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful to be here, man. I'm actually, man, a lot of what I went through, I'm grateful to have went through it and made it through, to be here right now to discuss certain aspects of my experience, man, to some degree, So yeah, I'm, no, I wouldn't change anything, because that little change could alter, a whole lot that I appreciate having in my life right now. You know what I mean? If I changed one little thing, would that had altered the day I met my wife? You know what I mean? Things of that nature, so no, I wouldn't change anything. A lot of it, I'm not satisfied about, you know what I mean? But still, man, here I am, man. So that's what, I appreciate, about my life. I'm still here, man. And hey, I think I'm all right. I think I'm a good man, you know. I think I'm a good black man, you know. So nah, I wouldn't change that, man. Not at all. Not at all. Quinn and Zinga say, man, if the rate is higher, I think it's due to drug use. Um, I'm trying to equate that though, the drug use aspect, just in terms of what they said, the stats said, you know, in terms of the suicide rate and why it was so high, and they stress mainly just stress and depression. And then if you think about it, what you said might have some, maybe, you know, maybe a valid point, because I'm pretty sure, I'm not a drug guy, but drugs can, you know, create depression. You know, there could be a lot of stress just in terms of making sure, you know, you have that drug. You know what I mean? There's a lot, you know, evolving around that. So yeah, your point is well taken. I get it. I get what you're saying. All right. All right. I get that. Vincent said, man, I agree, bro, 100, but I'm spiritually referencing my disposition essence. I got you, home. I got you. You know, the core, your core. Who I got you. I got you. And I you know what? I'd second that. You know, yeah, yeah. Just thinking about it, yeah, I would second that. Yeah, I would. Yeah, yeah. I don't think I could do without my spirit. You know, you know. Yeah, me, character, the whole nine, man. You know what my soul feels, thinks, goes through. Yeah, I wouldn't change none of that. Queen and Zinga said, man, drug use significantly impacts how young people think, act, and develop by altering brain chemistry and inhibiting crucial development. Damn, girl, you smart. Thank you. Let me read that again. And this is in reference to what I read today about the suicide rate in the black community, especially dealing with our youth. Queen Nzinga is, you know, saying that drugs may have a role in that, you know. So she goes on to say, man, first she said if the rate is higher, I think it's due to drug use. Then she goes on to say drug use significantly impacts how young people think, act, and develop by altering brain chemistry and inhibiting crucial development. Appreciate that. All right. Is that UC McIntosh? He said, never knew that about the black community. What's that, brother? The suicide rate? And these are supposedly, this is fresh data. This is for 2026, man. And hopefully that's what you're talking about. But in any respect, Mr. McIntosh, appreciate you, you know, your presence, bro. You're more than welcome to be here. This is Under the Groove Podcast, and you are touching bases with the people. We appreciate you, man. You're more than welcome to be here, man. Just, you know, there's no caveats, and there really aren't any conditions, because what we stress, what we talk about in terms of this group, the Royal Group Congregation, is just all about love, man, respect, you know, trying to have identity, working through that, getting to that, man, in unity. All right. That's that, you know, if there's such a thing as a requirement or requirements, those are what they are. All right. You're more than free, and this goes for any of us, to agree to disagree, you know, but that can't be the reason for disrespect or anything like that. So, hey, man, have at it, man. Touch bases with the people. This is what we do from Monday to Friday, Monday through Friday, 6:15 until boom, you know, till I get that call or that text and, hey, shut it down, come eat dinner or something. All right. But hey, man, hey, peace and blessings, homie. Appreciate you being here. All right. All right. Oh, my favorite color, man, is gray. It's gray, straight up, you know. Gray and black actually, but gray is my favorite color, you know. I just, you know, the color gray, and I don't, you know, they say things about colors mean shit, but gray don't make, you know, gray is supposed to be described as something like gloomy, you know what I mean? But I don't get that feel. I don't get that vibe with gray. I think gray is, it's a good color to me. I love it. You know what I mean? Well, I don't love it, but it's a favorite color of mine. Um, actually, almost all shades. Almost all shades. I don't like the real dark gray, like charcoal gray. I don't, but other shades of gray, man. Colors I appreciate, real spit. And then of course, like I said, black is my favorite color. Also, just something about black, man. It represents energy, power to me. That's what that do for me. But yeah, that's it right there, man. All right. Mr. McIntosh said, yeah, you so yeah, you so mean brother in Samoan. Okay, there you go. Appreciate that. All right. You see, it's you so means brother in Samoan. And yeah, the suicide rate. Yeah, finish that. You got cut off right there. You so I didn't get to finish reading it. Yeah, the suicide rate is bad though, y'all. James said, I only wear black, gray, and blue more than anything else. I'm gonna tell you something. Just I'm telling y'all, man. I said it yesterday. I said as much as I can or as often as I can. I'm still growing, man. And I'm still growing, man. I'm still adapting and adjusting to a lot of things. A color I never wore was red. I got a pair of tennis shoes that are gray and red. I like them; they look good, so I wear them. It was something I had to check myself about. Especially since I'm talking about getting rid of this division or those things that divide us. You know what I mean? So I got a burgundy hat. I wore my hat one day. Went to see the homies. Hang out with a few of them, man. Just chop it up, catch up. And I had my hat on. They said, "Hey, we got the red." I said, "Yeah." And I got what I think that hat is more like just not a deep burgundy, but shoot. And I got shirts, that got red in them, you know what I'm saying? But it's a first for me. I mean, my whole life. My whole life, man. So we came up like that, allowing colors, man, to dictate how we interact, not only with our brothers, but how or we allow colors to define us. You know what I mean? Something that like I say, man, I worked on personally. So I don't have a problem with it now. It's not something I worry about. It's not something that I realize now that'll make or break me. It's just the color, man. So yeah. Colors I don't wear. I don't wear pink. Nah, man. I don't think men should wear pink. That's just my opinion. All right. For anybody to wear pink, don't take it personally. Don't come up anything, roasting me and checking me. All right. But I don't wear pink. I don't wear fluorescent colors and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's just that's something I can't do, man. I can't do that, man. But there that is, man. Yeah, Yusi, come back in here, man. Finish that sentence, man. That comment right there, bro. Yeah, the suicide rate, man, is man. I don't even know how to address that, how to label that, man. I just know it's bad. But that means what that means is, yeah, our young brothers and sisters, man, are going through some stuff. And we supposed to be in a position to where we can help them. Help them through some stuff, man. I was telling, we know this sister. She's been on the podcast before, has a master's in psychology. She, boom, she knows the shit. I remember we were talking at the studio one day, and I said, I think that, the conversation was evolving around more and more blacks are going to see psychiatrists now, you know. And I was like, hey man, I remember back in the day that was, that was like taboo, you know. you know, for instance, the school saying, your son might need to go see a psych, and moms be like, boy, my son ain't going to see no damn psychiatrist, you know. I'm his psychiatrist. I got psychology for his ass, that's what I remember. Our psychiatrists, in not just in the family, but in the community, were our parents, were the mothers, you know what I mean? Mostly, if we needed some psychological, evaluations or whatever, if we needed somebody to talk to, that was our psychiatrist, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we are that, I'm pretty sure, man, we could impart a lot to those brothers and sisters, man, who just may need to talk, and that's why I suggest, often when like the OGs, they go through the set, man, they sticking and moving, whatever the case may be, allow, if it's in their schedule, man, some time to, speak to a homie that you may recognize, may need speaking to, you know what I mean? Or may need just an ear, because a lot of these young brothers, I've noticed, a lot of them want to vent. They got a lot of pent up anger and anxiety, just angst in them, man. A lot of pressures just building up in them. And a lot of them, I think, just want to be heard, So, yeah, we can be those psychiatrists, man. We can be the ear, that would listen rather than, always trying to direct or guide, I think that's doable. It's something we could do, man. It's something we should do, for our young brothers and sisters, man. All right. Glad you back up in here, you said, man, I was just stating, I wasn't aware that blacks had the highest suicide rate, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all went through the most in America as a whole, so I understand. Yeah, man, I wasn't aware as well. And again, I just got wind of that today, and it did something to me spiritually, man. It does something to me, even thinking about it now, spiritually, man. Like, damn, not our babies in that respect, but our kids, man, our young brothers and sisters are going through some shit to where, man, they don't want to even be here no more. They don't even want to fight no more, That's some sad, that's some hurtful stuff, man. I'm touched by it. I know that. I didn't know that. I always thought that the clear people, children, was doing that, more than anybody. But they say, man, our young brothers and sisters, by a large margin, I was, devastated, man, to read that, So, I was doing some research. That's how I came across it, though. Just to hear that, man, it did affect me, man, as it should everybody. And in fact, when we're talking about kids, man, children, the young ones, no matter who they are, you know what I mean? It should affect us, man. These are kids. For whatever reason, man, don't want to know what, life can give them, who won't get to experience, or know a future beyond the pain that they're tired of going through. You know what I'm saying? That's some cold stuff, man. That's some cold stuff, man. When kids are suffering to that degree, to where they want to, that's messed up, man. That's some messed up stuff. That's just as bad as killing children. To me, that's just as bad, man. And society should be in an uproar, and it doesn't matter what color they are, and we're not. This is how messed up society is, though, And when we talk, when we come and we touch bases with one another, these are the conversations we end up, having. One of the main themes in our conversation is how messed up society is. It's jacked up, man. It's jacked up. So much so, man, where we got youngsters taking their own lives. That's some sad shit, man. Just think about that, man. I get it though. Sometimes life be like that, just overbearing, man, just too much to deal with, So yeah, man. James said, man, I seen him wearing crazy shit out here. But I guess people do what they do. Yeah, the colors is one thing, but you see now when we look again, man, society it is changing. And not for the better in a lot of respects, when we see when I see the dress codes, for instance, the attire, what people wear, I'm often, like stunned, shocked, I would gawk at like, man, what possessed him to wear that, or her, what I'm noticing now, and I've just mentioned this just recently, is that a lot of brothers are now wearing like rhinestones and sparkly stuff, sequins and shit in their clothes, and I'm like, damn, I recall back in the day, um, like my mom, she used to dress us in Levi suits, you know what I mean? Levi jacket sets, the jacket and the jeans with wallabies and shit like that, right? Our oldest brothers, they would get they were like I don't know if you guys remember the studs in like the cuff, them like bronze, like studs, just studs. And it was a fashion statement, studs was cool. You still see them today though, but you didn't see. Well, I take that back. My mom had bought us on Easter. It was an Easter, man. My two oldest brothers, she bought them that shit. Cause me and Mexican probably would have started crying or something like, we ain't wearing that, But this was when we were kids, man. She bought them for their Sunday outfit, these pants, almost like some Jackson 5 shit, with the rhinestones around the collar and around the sleeve, and come down, and they love that shit. Me and bro were looking like, yeah, we ain't wearing that, you know. But that was, I have to admit that I do recall that back then, and this was the 70s. This was the 70s. So I guess nothing's new in the sun per se. Things go around. They go around, and so I guess that's why we seeing it now. They're bringing it back. But I see a lot of these dudes with these hoodies and these jackets, and they rhinestoned up, and I'm like, all right, shit, all right, I don't know. I'm just different, in that respect, man. My consideration is that, there's some things, I'm not gonna do as a man, I'm not gonna wear as a man, like, tight jeans and shit. Back in the day, we see tight jeans on the youngsters today. Back in the day, brothers used to wear tight slacks. The players, they wore tight slacks and shit. They tailored shit. In fact, it came a time when you would get clowned for wearing tight slacks. We used to call them Mexican slacks. Back then, and then they had the fake pocket. It had the little lapel on the back on the ass right there, but it was a fake pocket. Yeah. Back then it was slacks though. It wasn't jeans. Dudes, and I don't recall skinny jeans back in the day. I recall bell bottoms though. I had a couple of pair, but I don't recall skinny jeans back in the days or in the day. I don't recall back in the day, brothers walking with holes in their pants and their knees and shit like that. I'm trying to think long and hard on that one, man. I just don't recall that. I was probably in jail if that was going on, but that's another thing I don't recall, there's a lot of shit, man. A lot of things, man, are different now, no doubt. A lot of things are different now, man. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's for the good or for the bad, man. But I do know, man, times are changing, man. And not only that, man, but the psyche, the psychology of people, is also changing. People are different now. They behave differently. They think differently. And speak differently. Well, we've always spoken, how we speak. I mean, Ebonics has always been something we've done. But even that's changing. Even that's changing, man. I heard somebody talking today about rap music and how just rap music is one thing. It's all I think he called it not necessarily trap music, but op music, where all the rap, so-called rap music is all about just ops and knocking holes in, in the female. You know what I mean? I can't tell you yay or nay because I don't listen to it, but the brother was very animated about it. He said, man, that's all, and he got the name and the diversity, not just in the different styles of rap or whatever, but also the artists, and how, rap was about a little bit of everything. It wasn't about just, kill, 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 money, 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 Yeah, he had a point, but again, I couldn't tell you, what the latest get down is today that they listen to, that, our young brothers and sisters listen to. I don't listen to it. I've said this before, when the family come over, you get upset with me real quick because I'm here to throw some Tupac up in there or something. You know what I mean? And for the most part, the family love Pop. We're like, come on now, come on, Pop, you got to change it up. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. But I relent. They put it on. I'll shake the patio, man. I'll go inside or something. But yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good until it ain't, and we're at that stage where everything ain't all good, man. Everything is not all good. We're going through some stuff, man. And I'm making like it's just us, but I think people in general are just going through shit. The world is changing. And those who run the world, want it to change. They want it to change, man. Without a doubt. All right, Donald Davis, let us see you up in here, bro. You say music no more these days. Is that how you want to say it? Music no more these days. Yeah. But yeah, okay, but music, I get it. This what they call music ain't music, not these days. Like, if you guys notice, man, R&B is like gone, it's like gone, there's no, to me now. And now and then my wife, she'll turn me on to something. I say, okay, that's cool. That's, I like it, But even R&B is different. R&B is different. It's just totally different, So, in that respect, I stick to old school R&B and oldies, but it's everything is changing, man. I like a little neo soul, they all right. I vibe off that, but that seemed to be getting crazy as well. Yeah. James said it ain't the same, man. I listen to Eazy-E on the regular. I miss the days of old. Yeah, Eazy-E, man, was a game banger for real. Yeah, man. Who ain't gonna feel some old school Easy, Cruising up the street in my 6'4". Come on, that shit was classic, man. That's some classic stuff. F the Police, you know, all that's classic. All right, ECC 190 Block Crip, man. East Coast, man, in the house. Peace and blessings, bro. How you doing, man? Good to see you up in here. You going to say, man, every generation that say music is not the same. LOL, real spit. Our parents, you know, when rap hit the scene the way it did, Sugar Hill, Grandmaster 5, Grandmaster Flash Strip, you know, our parents were like, what the hell is that? Real spit. Real spit. Just imagine when rock and roll came out, or R&B back in the 50s and 60s, you know, the parents, you know, of the children there was like, what the hell is that? That's, I can imagine them saying, that's devil music or something of that nature, you know? So yeah, you right about that. Music has changed over the, you know, over the ages, man. Music has changed over the ages. The cold part about it is, though, a lot of us, I think, are stuck on our parents' music. You know, there's a generation of us who listen specifically to the music our parents listened to. You know what I mean? We didn't we didn't, you know, divert from that. We didn't leave from that. You know, and this is why I say, man, to this day, I love me some oldies. I love old school R&B, you know. You know, man. Yeah, and again, in that respect, things were different, you know. But yeah, man, appreciate you up in here though, man. ECC 190, man, BC, man, appreciate you being up in here. This is Under the Groove podcast, and we are touching bases with the people, man. Appreciate you for that, man. Peace and blessings to you and yours, man. The whole East Coast family, man. Hopefully everything is everything, and you brothers, man, are empowering one another, trying to get the damn thing done, man. One day, man, we're gonna have to get it together, y'all. You know, same way we can come on these podcasts, man, and laugh and joke and talk about serious stuff, man. That same opportunity exists, man, in these streets, man. We can come together, man, and bring shit right, you know, align it back to where it should be, the way it need to be, especially for us, man, our people. So again, man, peace and blessings to you, man, for being in here. You're more than welcome, man. This is where we get down with the get down. All right. One thing, man, you might not agree with everything, man, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree, man. It's still about love, respect, unity, man. Right here. This is where black comes first. All right. Peace, bro. All right. Appreciate that, man. Jay said, man, you're right, though. For instance, Eazy-E made the classic diss record, Real Compton City G's, addressing Two Busters, Dre, and Snoop. And nowadays, they're going after everything breathing. Everybody is an op, man. And that's, you know, it's like, yeah, man. I remember, man, when rap or hip hop, man, was just more conscious. You know what I mean? And then I can recall, I remember when it changed, you know, and gangster rap, man, tore the lid off of it, man. Eazy-E came out with it, you know what I mean? I'm not going to necessarily say Ice-T was a gangster rap, but it was in that vein, sort of. King T, you know, not in that, you know, wasn't the gangster rap, but, you know, the way they were spitting, it was about street stuff, man, you know, and it involved, you know, street issues, you know, the culture, you know. But, man, yeah, once Eazy and them did it, man, boom, boom, that was it. Curtis Blow, man. These are the Braves. Man, classic shit. We used to hang in shacks, man. Playing that shit, man. Grandmaster 5, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, Curtis Blow, Sugar Hill. I mean, serious shit, man. We used to hang in shacks, ditching school, just listening to this shit, man. Smoking weed and what kind of cigarettes was there, man? Salem's. This before we started smoking cools and shit. But yeah, man, this got stories, man, like it ain't nothing. Like it ain't nothing. Curtis Blow, man. James say, man, I still bump Grandmaster Flash. Man, every time to this day, you say you still bump it. So do we. Hey, man, me and the wife, throw some old shit in there, man. And before you know it, everybody is singing in, you know, singing along. We rapping, you know. A lot of joy in that shit back in the day, man. A lot of joy, man. When nobody talking about killing nobody, you know, man. James said, man, it was awesome, brothers putting out dope music from every generation up until the most recent. Music died around 2005. Did it? No, I'm again, man. When I say I didn't listen to a lot of rap, I BS you not. That's the truth. I'm very selective about what I listen to. I think 2005, I probably did shit. I probably stopped listening to rap music around 2001, 2002, you know, unless some new Tupac shit came out, you know what I mean? Biggie shit, shit like that. But yeah, I stopped that long time ago. Man, 2005. ECC 190, man, said they might have not been gangster rappers, but they definitely influenced gangsters with their raps. Yeah, but I think that's how Easy and them got started, just listen to old school rap. But also you're talking about King T and Ice-T, you know what I'm saying? They weren't gangster rappers, but yeah, What's that one Ice-T? It's a classic. 6 a.m, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeaking across the bathroom. That shit is hard as fuck too. Excuse my language, y'all. I'm trying not to do a whole lot of cussing and stuff. All right, but that's a classic, man. To this day, man, I that come on, I'm in. I'm vibing with that, man. Real spit. Yeah, good point though, ECC. Good point. They might not have been gangster rappers, but they definitely influenced gangsters with their raps. Real spit, man. Real spit. King T and 8, a couple of my favorites. I was just listening to oh my God. This was day before yesterday, man. I played that shit about 5 times. MC8, yeah, the rap though, Straight Up Menace. Straight Up Menace, man. Or no, is that the name of it? I think that's the name of it, Straight Up Menace. Yeah. Just listening to that the other day, man. And I'm like, damn, man. This is it, This one shit was starting to go crazy too, though. Really, for real. Just, just period. The Message, man, is a classic. One of the coldest pieces, man, ever written. Black excellence at its finest. Now, you can't forget, again, there were different genres, man. It was happening like that, man. You had brothers coming out with all kind of, different styles, different flows, talking about different things, man. But I'm gonna tell you one that set the stage for just, Public Enemy, man. And I don't care what the hell I was doing, man. I was always knocking, bumping Public Enemy. Black Steel in Our Chaos, right? Like fire. Ghetto Boys, Till Death Do Us Part. To this day, that's some shit. I will listen to that shit. I'm telling you, man, the shit was just hard, man. The shit now is not, again, I don't listen to it, but I hear it from time to time, the family, the younger family members, they'll play it and you can hear, and I'm like, all right, man, 1, I don't understand them. 2, what they talking about. You know what I mean? But man, rap from back in the day, man, was fire. It was fire, man. It was fire. You go on, James, say, man, that's my personal view, bub. I do believe it really started weakening and losing its essence by 2010 at the latest. These brothers on that materialistic trash, womanizers, promoting drugs and sin. Yeah, a lot of misogyny, man, a lot of op type music, man, you know, doing away with brothers, man, and money, you know, or big fat change, you know. They make you think big fat change, make me think Airbnb and Rakim right now. Damn. They set a precedent. ECC said that. A lot of these dudes weren't gangsters, but they got down, they rapped in such a way, they set precedent for gangsters to start rapping, man. They're talking about the lifestyle, you know. I get that. Appreciate that, man. James said, man, Cuba Buster sellout, but he did drop some of the rawest records. When I get to heaven, and what can I do? What can I do are legendary. I remember coming home. I'm trying to remember the year, man. That's sad. But anyway, it was, I think, probably 90 when you talking about, you know, killing the police and all that, you know, in his rap. He had that whole album. I thought that was his hardest album, you know what I mean? Some of his hardest stuff, man. As far as Cube being selling, I've read some of the stuff being said about him being an agent and everything, you know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but who's not these days, you know? So many of us are, you know? So, you know, yeah, whole lot, man. Whole lot. All right. All right, Lisa, tell the truth. Black first, y'all. B1 equals black first. For y'all who don't know, that's something that we do or we say. It's our mantra here. B1. The letter B and the number 1 equals black first. You know, that's what we push, man. Blacks come first. You know, I mean, we're in that type of situation. We're in such a predicament that we have to start thinking like that. We have to start moving like that, rolling like that, grooving like that, and being like that. Black first have to be what we pushing, you know? So appreciate you saying that, Lisa. All right, B60N, what it do, bro? You say greetings and salutations, you bub, and the RGC B1. Appreciate you in here, man. Getting it done, huh? I already know, man. I already know. Got me and the wife anxious about this situation, man. So, yeah, we'll be in contact for sure. All right? James said 95% of the rap I listen to is straight up CPT and LA Underground. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you somebody else I enjoy to this day, still on my playlist. I thought Naughty by Nature was the shit, man. Uptown Anthem. Oh man, come on, man. You know, another one of my groups, man. I deal with a lot of like old rap, man, because I'm telling you, I relate, you know, in a lot of ways, in more ways than one, you know. In more ways than one. Sam Evans, man, he said, man, some rap songs today is on a lower vibration. That's the point, too. That's also a good point. Yeah, the vibration is, you know, and I think that a lot of them are being instructed to make that music like that. You know, they've been told to do that, just like that, you know, to disconnect us from the vibe or the vibration, you know, the frequency, you know, I think so. Great point. Thank you for throwing that in there. Thank you for throwing that in there, bro. And by the way, peace and blessings to you and yours. All right. Real spit. Frederick Hazaby, what it do, loved one? All right. I see you. I see you. Well, I see you, bro. James Cass, America's Most Wanted and Death Certificate. I think those are the ones. Yeah. By Ice Cube. Yeah. 2 of the best rap albums written. I give Cube that. All right. Raymond Skull, what it do, loved one? Peace and blessings to you and yours as well. Good to see you up in this get down. Hope, you know, not hopefully, may your day, you and your family's day, man, been everything you guys wanted to be, man. And I send mines to the Rays, man. You know what I'm saying? From Pasadena, Inglewood to LA. All right. Peace and blessings, loved one. I checked you out again today just to go back in and do what I do, man. And yeah, you know, what we were talking about last night, man, is so true, man. You could put solid stuff out there, man, in in that social media sphere and getting, that is, you know what I mean? But like you say, and I second, in it to win it, bro. In it to make a point, in it to get something out, to produce something, to provide to people with something a little more solid, with a little more substance. You know what I mean? So hey, man, it is what it is, and we need to stay on it. All right, hard work, man. Don't come easy. And there's also the saying, work smart, not hard. And I think we're doing that also, working damn smart, man. But still, it's hard for us to get in. That's all right. DMX, one of my boys too. I mess with DMX, not all of it, but some of it. All right, Raymond Cole, good to see you up in there, loved one. All right, Vincent Harmon, man, good night. Right back to you. Peace and blessings, man, to you and the family, man. All right. Hope to see you soon. Appreciate you, bro. Rakufu, what it do, man? Public Enemy, X-Clan, KRS-One, Dead Prayers, Nas, Rakim, Paris, Cam, all of mine. All of mine. And I didn't mean to leave them out. In fact, you got one in there. Dead Prayers, it's straight fire, man. I don't, man, Stick. Man, can't tell me nothing about Dead Prayers, man. They are the shit. A little bit of DMX, not all. A little bit. Eric B. and Rakim, still a classic. Still a classic. All right, Queen. Thank you for that. Raymond Scott said, man, I still listen to old rap, Public Enemy, Rebel Without a Pause. I named Black Steel in Hour of Chaos. You know what I mean? That's a classic to me. But you say Public Enemy, Rebel Without a Pause, my favorite. DP, Boogie Down Productions, My Philosophy was the shit. I still listen to it regularly. Same here, bro. Same here. I get hyped too when I listen to it. I'll be like on my militant shit, man. You know what I mean? And to tell the truth, I don't need to listen to that shit because I already be on it, I already be on it, man. Yeah, man. Sam's Evans said, man, Ice Cube EP, Kill at Will, was dope. Yeah. Right, cool food, man. Channel Live, EPMD, Big Daddy Kane. All right, Keith Murray, Dad's Effects. Yeah. All right, Raymond Skull said, man, I realize that the people who look at that content is who it's meant for. And that's the truth, bro. That's the truth. Some of our people don't, they see it, they like, nah, I don't want that. I want some drama. I want beef, I want beef, what ops is in the news today, that kind of get down, bro. So yeah. I think the objective though, man, again, is in spite of that, man, stay on the grind like we're doing, we're going to continue to stand on business. And as we do so, we would like to see, 1, 2, you know what I mean? As long as it reaches somebody, that's what matters, bro. Lords of the Underground. I know my wife know all this stuff, man. UC McIntosh said, man, did a lot of your childhood friends move out to Seattle? Nah, the only no. I remember the homie that moved out there. 9 dudes. Peanut was out here before he went out there. But nah, most of us that grew up together, bro, we stayed here. It's when we got older, the brothers started, moving out of state, going to other states, and not to game bang, you know what I mean? But some to start just, start a new life, shit like that. But yeah, most of the guys that we grew up with, yeah, they did it. That's not to say some haven't, Some have, but not Seattle particularly. You know what I mean? Rakufu said Run DMC, man, LL Cool J, Ice-T. Yeah, LL, man. I used to rewrite rhymes, you know, I was in prison, man, 80, 85, 86. He had a lot of shit I used to like, and I used to just put my own words in it, you know. So when it come out, you know, I have my own flow, you know. Yeah, no shit though, Rakufu. He did do that. Yeah, in Seattle, man. Yeah, rest in peace to that brother as well. Yeah. Sam Evans said King T is another legendary artist out of Compton. There you go. Yeah, King T, man, his mixtapes, you know, everybody had King T shit, you know. Yeah. You know, shit, man. They used to put them tapes together, man. I used to have a car full of them cassette tapes, man. Toddy T and Mixed Mass Spade. Yeah, I bet you, I'm telling you, my wife know all of them, man. She probably recite. I'm pretty sure she could probably to this day still recite a lot of them guys' rhymes word for word. Her and her sister, man, you can't, man, shit. Diehards, man. OG, just OG rap heads. You know what I mean? They know how to flow with the flow. They know all these fools. Yeah, Rock Cool tight with that history, man. You see, you know that, huh? Yeah, that he's our historian. Rakufu, he's our historian, man. He's one of them. We have more than one, you know. Brother James is tight, man. Alonzo is tight, man. Al, we got some historians up in this thing, man. Trust to know that. Trust to know that. Yeah, he is a stump down historian, man. You ask him something, he gonna give you the goods on it. You know, I'm telling you, him, like I say, him and a few brothers up in this get down. James, Alonzo, Al, and they'll let you, and they're quick to correct you. They'll let you know some shit. Raymond Sco as well got his history down pat on lock. They gonna, and that's the thing about this get down, man. I could say something that is not on point, you dig, or just incorrect. And the brothers is like, nah, bub, that wasn't that. This is how that go. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, you got to appreciate that type of shit. You know what I mean? You got to, man. And I'm telling you, this is one of the reasons why I appreciate these brothers in the get down. You know, they make the get down what it is, man. So I appreciate them. Okay, Raymond Cole said music really had a hypnotic effect on me. So I'm real careful as to what I listen to. So I was saying a minute ago, Ghetto Boys, they came out with that album, man, The Death Do Us Part. And I can understand, I can relate to what you're saying. Tupac's shit was out, I think it was Tupacalypse Now, and I forget which album it was. But it affected me, you know what I mean? And put that or couple that with, I'm drinking Hennessy, and it wasn't a good mix. It's not a good mix, man. That did affect me, man. Especially, like I said, man, Ghetto Boys. And they wasn't even gangbanging in them, but their music it had an effect on me. You say McIntosh, man, asks LA history or Under the Groove history. Yeah, listen, the podcast started out as that Under the Groove, the Hoover story, and I thought that, it started because, an individual I'm okay with, I'm cool with, I respect, was doing episodes, doing content on certain loved ones, all right? And I just thought that, was inappropriate. You know what I mean? I thought that was inappropriate because it was under You know, it was under the culture gang. It was under the gang umbrella. You know what I mean? Not disrespectful though. It wasn't nothing disrespectful about it. You know, in fact, just telling the story. You know what I'm saying? I get that, but I just thought it was inappropriate, and a lot of individuals from the community thought the same. And that's how Under the Groove, the Hoover story, you know, came to be. But though that, you know, is how, you know, it started, the concept wasn't for it to remain that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, let's be honest, you can only, you know, certain aspects of history going to go so far, you know what I mean? So the fact that we were able to get out the initial history of Hoover, you know, and that was without all the sets participation. You know, a few sets didn't jump in and, you know, help lay, you know, the history down. And again, I've told this story, I've related it to, to viewers and people who tap in. And I was given, you know, not explanations, because they didn't have to explain anything to me, you know, but an understanding as to why they didn't want to participate. And I understood immediately, you know, I got it. I said, yeah, okay, boom, I get you, boom. But anyway, that being said, that's how it started, man. It started because, okay, we thought, or, you know, I thought, and then others thought it would be best if we did that, because those are our loved ones and they, you know, they passed away or whatever. So just tell the, you know, the story. And we did that initially, how Hoover started, who started it, you know, that thing, you know, things of that nature. But again, the platform or you know, the channel, the podcast, the idea was always to transition from that, you know, to transition away from gang stuff, you know. If you look at any of the interviews, it was never about disrespecting no other set or anything like that. You know, that was one of, you know, conditions for coming on, you know, the podcast. There's no disrespect tolerated towards anybody, you know what I'm saying? And that was our whole, you know, that was part of the get out. But overall, it was to transition anyway, to begin talking about, you know, the communities, you know, blackness, you know, revolutionary thought and shit like that, you know, those things, man, that the community lacks today, you know. That was the whole get out, man. I'm It's safe to say we've transitioned, I think, smoothly to what we do now, and touching bases with the people is a part of that transition, you know. So, you know, we transitioned from that to this, and I think, you know, it was a smooth transition. You know, I think also that is something that benefits the people, you know what I'm saying? Rather than, you know, we see a lot of stuff on YouTube, you know, on social media that, you know, it falls short of benefiting or being something that's positive, you know, in terms of, you know, the community, no matter who's in the community, to receive, you know, be some good to them. So yeah, that is, man, you know, so it is still Under the Groove podcast, you know. It's just not, you know, there's no the Hoover story attached to it, you know. It's just Under the Groove podcast, you know. So yeah, there that is. And again, I'm all right with the transition, and it, a lot are, you know. So it was all for the right reasons, man, you know, all for the right reasons. Yeah. You're going to say, yeah, music definitely puts you in the mood. That banging on wax ruined my childhood. Oh man. So I knew it's not to be bragging and, you know, with name dropping and shit like that, but I actually interacted with all them brothers. You know, my brother they were all homies. You know, Big Y, you know, little Bolo, man, all them cats. I knew all of them. You know, had them at my mama house, had them at my house, took them out of town with me. We hung out, you know. But yeah, I knew all them cats, and I actually the Damu part of Banging on Wax. This is who I'm speaking about. Shit, man, I had that album too. You know, the first one that came out. You know, them still my brothers, man. I'm still my brothers, man. You know. Yeah, Banging on Wax was, that was a crazy one too. Man. And what, 90, 91, 92? Yeah, something like that. Sam Evans said Too Cool from 7-4 put me on me up on a lot of rap music. Oh, Too Cool. All right. Kufu said, man, it was started to give a voice to a street organization that was voiceless at the time. Appreciate that, Rakufu. It was an emergence movement with more to emerge. There you go. Appreciate that. UC says, man, I knew it transitioned from your lives I've seen. Yeah. Raku says, served its purpose for its transition to show its many parts to a moving vehicle, right? And that's the thing too. I think part of what we miss in the community, of just as men, even, all right, is that our lives are always transitioning, or is always in transition, or it should be. It should always be evolving. You know what I mean? It should not remain stagnant. You know, most of what we do in life, you know, no matter what it is, it should not be stagnant. It should not be static. It should always have a flow to it. You know, whether that flow is to increase, you know what I mean, one's productivity, you know, his positiveness, you know, his love or whatever, man. We should always seek to evolve. You know what I mean? So that is. I mean, that's how I look at, you know, the podcast. I look at it as an evolution, man. You know, and who knows? Who knows? It may change again, you know. But if that occurs, should that occur, it's going to be for the better, you know. It's going to be for the better. Yeah, man. Appreciate that, Rakufu. Rakufu, appreciate you. You as well, UC. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. D-Lo from Bounty Hunter Watts. What's up with it, bro? Appreciate you coming in, man. Touching bases with the people, man. That's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful, man. Have Watts up here, have Bounty Hunters up in there, man. Hanging out with the rest of us. Touching bases with the people, man. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. Appreciate you, bro. And like I say to everybody, man, may your day, man, been pleasant and fruitful. That you brothers over there in Watts, man, y'all getting it together, man. Everything is above board. You brothers, man, are empowering one another, getting the damn thing done, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, what you probably already know. All we got is us. All we got is us. You know, real spit. You know, whether you Crip, Blood, Hoover, Gangster, it doesn't matter, man. We all we got, man. So your presence, man, means a hell of a lot. Appreciate you up in here with us, man. Appreciate you being up in here with us, man. Real spit. You're going to say orange, apples, and grapes. Ain't nothing but love, y'all. Ain't nothing but love. That's Under the Groove Podcast, man. Ain't nothing but love for the people, man. That's it. That's it. That's all. Anything else, man, it ain't supposed to be what it is, man. It can't be on this table. It ain't above board, man. We keeping it above board. Appreciate your presence, loved one. Our love and respect, man, to the whole Hunter car, to the Watts car, man, that go for the grapes as well, man. PJs, whole nine, man. Let's get together, brothers. Appreciate you. Jane, you say you love Banging on Wax 1 and 2? They time Banging on Wax 1 was this shit. I'm telling you. Again, my little brother, man, he was, you know, they was all tight, man. They all hung together, man. Just a little bit some. I used to let them come hang out at the spot, man. You know, what I mean, do their thing, man, whatever. You know what I mean? Had them with the babies and they chilling. To this day, man, they know each other. They cool, man. Man, in fact, it was a couple of young guys from Rolling 60s with them. took them to Mississippi with us as well, man. You know, just hanging out, man. And it wasn't no funk. It wasn't nobody flexing, wasn't none of that. And this was in 1992. All right, real shit, man. That's what I enjoyed about that, you know. That's what I enjoyed about that. Real shit. Yeah. Rakufu said, man, only one thing is for certain, and that is change. There you go, man. There you go. James said, man, shame how many of them brothers we lost, right? That's just been period, man, you know? Man. Raymond Scholes said, man, the Hoover story was dope. It was a piece of missing history in this culture I felt needed to be told. Now, my historical knowledge about the culture is in depth. Salute to that. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. And again, there could have been more added to it, but again, I think though, for as far as the Hoover story go in that respect, it was a history, and Hoover Joe came out of the woodwork, man. You know, gave it his blessing, you know, and then Fat came on and we hung out to this day, man. You know, we interact, we straight. That's my G bro. You know what I mean? Fact, I gotta get in and that I just seen, I got a message from him. His involvement in that, man, I think made it worthwhile, gave it significance, gave it validity, you know, it validated to get down, you know, because he was the founder, you know what I mean? We have a lot of loved ones, man, who are involved in that whole thing, man. And just to hear, you know, the camaraderie and how them brothers got along back in the day, it's something to be told, you know. It was something to be told, man. So I appreciated the part where I was able to get that out and disseminate it amongst the people, man, in such a way. It was just respectful, I think, you know. It was done respectfully, you know. So I have no issues with it, man. I have no issues with it, and I appreciate those of you who actually, you know, went and checked it out, man, and got a bar of it and was like, hey, man, okay, you know, that gave you, you know, it made you more informative, gave you some understanding, knowledge about Hoover Street, you know. So appreciate that, you guys, especially coming from you, Raymond. Thank you, bro. D-Lo from Bounty Hunter Watts, he said, real talk, man. It's that real spit, y'all. Sam Evans said, man, this podcast has really gotten better. No cap. I've seen the growth, brother. And I'm telling y'all, man, it's only gotten that way. And again, no cap. You know, I hope y'all understand I'm not built like that. For the most part, I say what I say, man. And I'm not with no fluff, that, you know, the BS, man. This thing, man, is only right, especially where it is now, because of the brothers and sisters who come in here and involve themselves in this. Get down, man. It, you know, come on, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. You know, I'm telling y'all like this. You guys are the fuel for the vehicle, man. You make it go. You know, you are part of this vehicle. You know what I'm saying? So without you guys, hey, man, it's just another podcast. And I don't view it as that, you know. You know, I view it as a podcast. I view it as it's an instrument. It's a tool, man, for the people, by the people. You know what I mean? Because a lot of what we discuss is what we deal with you guys. You know what I mean? So this thing is ours, and it's here for a reason. It's here for a reason, man. There's not another one like it. You know, when we look at, you know, what our brothers do in that sphere, that social media realm, you know, I appreciate that ain't us. I just do, man. I just do, you know. So, hey, man, I'm more grateful to you guys, man, than you think. All right. So I appreciate all that, man, from all y'all, man. All love and respect, real shit. Man, D-Lo, man, from Bounty Hunter Watson, man, thank you. It's an honor to be here with the Grooves, man. It's an honor to have you amongst all us, man. All us. And, you know, just, I ain't got to say it, man. They in here, man. We got the East Coast in here. We got the CPTs, and we got Compton in the house, man. We got Watts in the house. Bounty Hunters, man. We got Damus, man. We got Tonga, man. We got brothers up in here, man. It's all love, all right? That's what this thing is about, man. It's about eradicating, man, and getting rid of the division so that we can chill like we want to, man. You know? That's what it is, homie, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna move on, man, because shit, you know. Yeah. UC said, damn, yeah. Damn. Y'all was chilling when it was on, man. Yeah, man. Rakufu said, man, take this time to reflect on the fact that the struggle continues is the #1 meal on the menu. All right? It is, man. It's the only thing on the menu. Queen and Zinga say, real talk, you will change no matter if you want to or not. Real stuff. James said, man, OFTB, my favorite group out the dub. Nothing but love to Watts. And rest in peace to Flip. Peace and love to the Bounty Hunters. All lines. One. There we go. Touching bases, man. That's what we do. It's what we do. It's what we do, man. Facts, man. You say, James say stretch from Young Soldiers with Big Y was dope, man. Big Y, man. I come home, man. Big Y called me, man. You know, man, come on, man. I got stories. I used to hang with them young brothers, man. You know, and I called it. That's how I looked at it. I hung with them. They didn't hang with me, man. I hung with them, man. You know, I appreciate them young cats, man. But I come home, Y called me. So, man, where you at, man? I'm at home, man. What's happening, man? So, man, you got to come over here. I said, where you at? He's at a studio in Inglewood, right? I said, man, shit, I ain't drove in 20-something years, man. I probably don't know where the hell I'm going. So I got my homeboy to take me over there, man. And he knew the homie and everything, you know. And man, we chilled, man. We chilled in the studio, man, and we just chopped it up. We reminisced, you know. We talked about our loved ones, man. They ain't with us no more, man. How we miss them. We talk about the unnecessary loss of individuals, man, from all sides, you know. We talked about that, man. We had them discussions, man, you know. Pops, if you out there, man, love you, homie. Chuck. Rollo. You know I'm talking to. All love, man. Bolo. All love, man. Yeah. UC say, seems like you got every number besides 8 tray and or 4 tray. True that. So I got loved one. These my brothers, man. Again, so the understanding is this, man. And again, I didn't only accept it, I appreciate it, you know, the conversations I had with my loved ones from there, from both of the trades, 4 tray and 8 tray. Well, no, we had PT. We had PT from the tray. You know, I did actually approach other trays, you know, and think it didn't work out. You know what I mean? It was always something that, you know, collided with the get down, you know what I mean? The scheduling. As far as 4 tray goes, same thing pretty much. And I got some true dudes, man, from down there. Shout out to my loved one, man, Nate. If you know, you know what I mean? My dude, man. But yeah, man, it's nothing but love and respect, man. Nothing but love and respect, man. you know. Man. And for Trey being another one of the old sets, man, it would have been nice to have him in there. But you know, brothers, you know, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. But I did have wait a minute, Raymond Cole said, Bub, I have one last question about this. Do you think the Grooves out of state tap in with Hoover Joe? Do they understand who he is? I'm done. In fact, yeah, some do. New York and Texas, for sure, you know. And yeah, they know, you know, most of them do, you know, throughout the nation. They know, you know what I mean? They know. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, Rakufu. I did do PT Pretty Tony was on. He from A. Trey Hoover. And he came around when Tony Stacy came around, you know. And PT another real one. James said, man, shots out to the ING. Salute to them brothers and sisters in the Bottomsville. Rest in peace, Big Y, one of the dopest on the mic. Real spit, man. Yes, ma'am, Miss Lisa. Lisa Moore said, B1 Black first, man. All right, everybody, I got to get ready to cut out. Listen, man, for all you brothers that came in tonight, you know, this channel is honored, all right? Honored, man, to have you guys' presence in here with us, man, all right? Jay Farrell, what it do? He say, OG, can you speak on the history of all the Hoover sets, nicknames like Salos and so forth? Yeah, I could, but I don't, you know, again, bro, this is something, you know, that was decided about a year now, man. That's not something that, you know, we want to, you know, even discuss, you know what I mean? There are old episodes that talk about that, you know, actually, you know what I mean, that were done concerning or addressing what your, you know, what your comment is, you know what I mean? You can go back to some of the old episodes and all that is in there, you know, all that is in there, you know what I mean? Every nickname for the set is in there, you know. It's explained as well, all right? But, you know, respectfully, you know, that's not something that we want to, you know, we don't want to, you know, regress. You know, we want to go forward, man, you know, and for that reason, this is why, you know, we don't even indulge in that no more, all right? That's not to say loved ones won't come on the show, you know, or come on the podcast, man, and talk truth to power, you know, that'll be the reason, you know what I mean? But not to discuss, you know, the history or activity, all right? But appreciate you nonetheless, Jay Farrell. Good to see you back up in here as well, brother. For you brothers, man, that came in, man, again, man, just it's an honor, all right? Straight up, you know, straight up, man. You know, from the East Coasters, man, to the Bounty Hunters, man, Raymonds, you know, to CPTs, man, all of it. Crip, Blood, Gangster, Hoover, Neighborhood, whatever. You know, this can be considered home, man. Y'all, you know, you want to come and just, you know, talk truth to power, man, be positive, you know, want to be amongst, you know, those you can have decent conversations with, man. Talk about love and unity. This is the place to be. All right. And that being said, man, I'm gonna let the thing ride, man. You know, and peace and blessings to everybody, man, in the chat, man, the RGC, man, family, man. To those who came in again, man. Number of peace and love, man. Blessings to you and yours. Take care of yourselves, though, man. Love yourselves. Love yourselves, man, so that we can get to the point, man, where we know how to love each other. All right. That's the only way it's going to happen, man. You know, got to have love for self, man, to understand how that shit really works. All right. Same goes for taking care of yourself. Can't take care of me. You can't help me. You can't help nobody if you aren't able to help yourself first. You know, when you get to that point, when we reach these stages, man, then we get comprehension. We understand what it takes, man, to be men. You know, how that character, man, comes for, it shines for. And those are character builders, man. You know, love is some powerful stuff, man. almost as powerful as our blackness, you know, but love, it's fire, man. That's what we lacking, man. We need more of that, all right? But only when individuals know how to love themselves, man, will we reach the point where we know how to love each other. All right. That being said, man, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Power is in the people. Take care, people. One love.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurston writing future history. From the Apollo to the Borough to the Sphere, where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transformed suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant. This is once a less than Hatters, hats, and Mercedes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive project, the applause for polls. Need your data, talks and consulate problem when the wedges want to build the season bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times. Plead the rock is off the main. Make a honor fans turn and they can love the durn. Suffer like a kisher. You went from the preaching up on side is each lunch on the shit and untrue seeing vet someone the very inch on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the bonafide. You wait something for the marker rate to keep him through the trumpets on the lords to the singer land is carried open slowly. Keep us looking on my mother, break your chair and resi for the he and let the peasant be. It's every time we keep a spawn.